Welcome to the Etobicoke Lakeshore podcast. I say it the same way every time. Is that okay, Roger?
It's very good.
Should I keep it consistent? Is that your thinking?
I do like it.
Let me try a different one on you, just see if you like it, okay? Hello, friends. Too much? Welcome to the Etobicoke Lakeshore podcast. How's it going, Roger?
Excellent, Mike. How are you doing?
Good. Are you truck casting with us today?
I am truck casting again, yeah.
You are an innovator. I've said that to you from the beginning.
Right? It's become a thing.
It has. People are truck casting everywhere. It used to be tailgating. Now it's truck casting.
Now it's truck casting, yes.
Some
a happy
people...
wife is a happy life, so I truck cast.
My family wants me evicted as soon as possible for doing this. I've been told to go back to the studio and figure it out.
Just take your chances.
Yeah, I think that it'd be better for everybody. Don't do that. Stay at home or whatever it is the government's telling you to do. But if you're isolating, hang with us because we're still in the community in South Etobicoke. By the way, I'm Mike. That's Roger Tumanieri. He is the publisher of the Etobicoke Lakeshore Press. Go to etobicokelakeshorepress.com. The publication is right there. It's tech cool.
It's cool, and I am into the production phase of our May edition, the theme for which is #ShiftHappens.
Hey,
so
that's
pretty excited to kind of dive into that and explore how local businesses and organizations in South Etobicoke are pivoting amid COVID-19.
I think that is #fudgin' terrific. So that's great. You can go check that out. And of course, what we've been doing throughout the isolation period here is everybody's kind of socially distant. Actually socially distant. We're trying to stay a community and keep everybody involved in what's going on. You might think we've all got the same story in this isolation thing. No, we all have different concerns. We all have our piece to hold up. And if you go back in previous episodes, you'll find all the people in the community that are trying to make a difference, even though it's so difficult to do so right now. So subscribe.
I think right now it's all about staying positive, and we're doing, I think, a good job of getting a bunch of folks onto the podcast here who are not only positive, but they're very hopeful. And, they're making changes to their business structure to shift, to accommodate their customers, and in this case, with our next guest, their students. On today's podcast is Derek Stockley, who's the principal of Humber College Lakeshore campus. He's also the senior dean of the Faculty of Social and Community Services.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Roger. Great to be here.
You sound great, by the way. As we do this remotely, I should always extend a thank you to everybody for making it possible, because usually it's a pretty cushy studio situation, but at least we're getting a chance to chat. So thanks for taking the time today.
For sure. And anything for a Humber alumni.
Hey, that's right. I could drop names right now, but most of the people who taught me, I'm sure, are now teaching in heaven. That's how old I am. But I was in residence for my very first, my last year of college. I was in the first year that Humber had residences. I was an RA in residence there, and it was a lot of fun. Life at Humber was a good time. It was a good time still, I'm sure. And now you guys have this beautiful campus right in the heart of our neighborhood, and it is a beautiful place to walk through, and it's a vibrant community of students, and the businesses thrive on it. And then all of a sudden, that's got to come to a halt. Maybe you could just walk us through a couple of days of what the decision-making was like, and what it was like on campus as you guys had to shut down and adapt.
Sure. Yeah, you bet. The decisions, a lot of the decisions were made for us, like everyone in society right now, and what we're dealing with the COVID-19. What we did is we pressed pause for 5 days on everything related to schooling, and we used those 5 days to put everything online. So, we closed on a Friday to the students, and the following Monday, we basically opened up Humber Online to 30,000 students over 200 programs. And within a week later, we had all the student service, almost every single student service up and running.
Okay, so let's stop there for 1 second. That seems like an impossibility. How how did you make all of this ready for? I have a post-secondary student here, a university student from Laurier living in my home. It happens to be one of my kids. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. She's not talking to me right now. It doesn't matter. Isolation does weird things. Having said that, part of the stress is having to be educated online, which everybody did really well, really quickly. How the hell did that happen, Derek?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. Institutions spend years trying to go online and put services online, and the 24 colleges across Ontario did it in a week. Almost all of us followed the same game plan, and you do it like at the same at every institution, which is with a great team. Right? We have a fantastic Center for Teaching and Learning. We have a Humber faculty that are so dedicated to the students, not just what they're studying, but their well-being. And that's the type of buy-in you need. Did we get it perfect on day one? No, not at all. But we listened and we kept adapting. And that's what we're still doing. We're still adapting and still changing. Every day you'll see new supports up online. Every day we're trying to figure out how to do this distance remote thing better and better.
It's well, I commend you. That's why I wanted to stop there, because I will, as a parent experiencing this right now, I have never seen so many people adapt so quickly. And as you say, years were spent trying to make this happen. In many cases, it just happened because of necessity. So I commend everybody involved in doing that. So now let's just also kind of pivot for 1 second. While you're doing this and preparing students to be gone, you have a residence full of students. I can suddenly relate to what that must be like, as I had to bug one out of Laurier. What was that scene like for you?
Yeah, again, just relying on so many different teams, right? Like the institution is 6 different faculties, but there's basically 40 different departments, each doing its own thing to make Humber run. And you're right, the residence is a big part of who we are as Humber. And it took a lot of preparation, but a lot of just supporting those individuals. So what was the messaging across the country? It was make it home if you can. But some of those folks in the residence couldn't do that. So for us, it was finding ways to make sure that they were safe and able to stay in a residence until they could make their way home safely. And for many of them, it wasn't the following week. For many of them, it took many, many weeks.
Yeah, I thought it might in some cases.
Absolutely.
And I'm relieved to hear that that's how that went down, because I was worried about a lot of students that might not have any place to go and would have a difficult time getting out of the city and away from school if they needed to. So now everything's running smoothly, and this is all good, right? Or are the challenges still ongoing every day? And what are those looking like as we sort of, by the sounds of things, phase back to a different reality?
Yeah, I would say the challenges are adapting to the challenges. So, we're right now we just ended the winter term that finished on Friday, and so we're trying to land that plane on the tarmac and make sure everyone landed safely. And so many students are dealing with their own struggles through this time, and their own challenges that, of course, impacts their ability to finish the term. So we're trying to come up with different contingency plans for all those students, trying to make sure that they still have the best chance to be successful, while focusing on the most important thing, which in many cases isn't schooling right now, right? It's being safe, it's being healthy, and so that's part of the focus. How do we make sure those students get carried across the finish line, even if the finish line isn't for months? Well, at the same time, we're looking ahead. We've paused the spring-summer semester a couple of weeks. We're not going to launch until May 19th. And that gives us a bit of an opportunity to prepare and take those courses online in a way that's different than the 1 week turnaround we had. So it's almost looking at what's happening today and adapting over and over again, while looking at tomorrow and getting ready for that as well.
What does it look like trying to get these students back on campus?
Yeah, that's something that we're taking direction from public health in that aspect, and we're listening to the same newscasts that everybody else is, and waiting for the direction to see how to do that safely.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how that goes. Do you look? Nobody's holding you to this, and you don't have to answer the question because you are a professional man. As I pointed out, Roger, he has dean and principal in that title. I am trying my best to behave. I still feel like a student of Humber. But if you were to look ahead at how campus life could be in maybe the fall, do you see that there are new precautions, or are people already presenting to you? What will be done, and what kind of precautions would be there, and what kind of equipment would be required? Is all that starting to show up on the horizon too?
Yeah, those are things we're starting to contemplate. What are all the different scenarios? Is it a partial bring back? Is it a faded one? What happens if people have to step back? But right now we're just trying to wrap up the winter and get ready for the spring. And we know what the spring is. The spring is remote. That we know that our students aren't on campus for the next 4 months. We know that we still run a robust series of programs and have lots going on, and trying to figure out how to do that to the best of our abilities, while at the same time starting to contemplate all the different scenarios. But really, so much of that direction will be from public health, and then we'll use the creativity and the ingenuity of the Humber staff, and we'll respond to it. So whether they say we can have one person in a room or 100 people in the room, we'll find the ways to do that in ways that allow the students to be successful.
The good news is the spring-summer session is on the way. And so the one thing we should do in putting a positive spin on this is explain you can get back to school. You can get enrolled. And if people wanted to do that, how would they do it? Because if you get enrolled, by the way, here's a bonus. If you get enrolled now, let me pitch Humber College for a second. See how I do. If you get enrolled right now for Humber College for the spring-summer session, come fall when everybody's heading back to school, allegedly or hopefully or whatever the case may be, there you are, smack dab in one of the beautiful campuses of our nation. And it is a great place to be, and getting involved online, it's a good start. Where do people go to enroll?
Yeah, you bet, Mike. And well said. I know I'm a bit biased being the principal of the campus, but I do believe it is one of the most beautiful campuses, if not in Ontario, possibly across Canada. If you go to humber.ca, right on the front page, there's a link to apply to all the full-time programs. Ones that we're running in May, June, ones that we're running in September. We just actually had, believe it or not, an open house on Saturday, a virtual open house from 11 to 2, believe it or not. And a lot of the activities that took place were recorded, and you can follow links from humber.ca to see some of that activity. Gives you a tour of the campus. You get to see some of the great facilities that we have, and all the other supports that are there, regardless of whether we're there in person or remotely. Those supports are going to be ready for those students.
Awesome. Okay, let's do, Roger, you want to have some fun with me here? Let's do some Humber College throwback trivia to see if anything still remains of the days that I was there, okay?
Oh, no.
The radio station was called HC100. Is it still called that over there at the North Campus?
Great question. And I'm gonna have to get you to do some sleuthing for that. I want you to go to our webpage to find the answer.
Cheeky. I like it. Well done, Derek.
You know what I'll tell you? If you go there, if you find your way to the Humber Radio, from 5 to 6 every day, we have live performances, believe it or not, every weekday.
That's
throughout
cool.
Throughout the next couple of weeks. So
that's cool.
Want to hear some great live performances, and I'm sure you're familiar with the type of shows that we can put on.
Yeah, actually, it's a very creative environment. The students there do a wonderful job. I've been back many times, and I love it, of course. How about the Coven? Is the Coven? Is it still that? Is that the name of the newspaper? Is that the print publication? Is there still a print publication?
We do have an online publication. We have Humber Today that you can check out.
Wow. Okay.
As well.
But this one for sure has remained, okay? Is it still the Humber Hawks?
It is still the Humber Hawks.
Oh, yeah. Thank goodness. Some things don't change. Oh, my goodness. That warmed my heart. Well, Derek, thank you so much for joining us. Any closing message you'd like to make? You seem to be keeping well and keeping focused on the students, and that's great.
The only thing I'd like to share is that we did launch a Support Our Students campaign. Like so many students are struggling, like we all are right now, with what's going on, and the needs of our students are just far exceeding what it is we're able to deliver on. So we did launch a Support Our Students fundraiser. we're going to be reaching out to alumni. So keep your eyes open, Mike.
Okay.
But if you go to that Humber alumni page or Humber advancement page, you can see some details there. So thanks for letting me share that.
Oh, that's great. You know what? Any way that we can give back and help keep that community strong in South Etobicoke, especially with students, because they are certainly the brightest lifeline in that neighborhood. So
and if you go to our humber.ca/Lakeshore page, we're going to have lots of great material for the community to engage in. Lots of stuff from our arts department, our athletics department, our music, and of course Humber Radio.
Excellent. Always promoting the radio. Well, thanks, Derek. Keep well and keep us in the loop. We'll be back in touch with you if that's all right.
Absolutely, would love that.
Okay. Well, there you go, Roger. Look, where did you go to university or college, or did you just go and get your PhD directly someplace at Harvard? I can't remember.
No, I didn't get a PhD. I went to Queens.
You went to Queens?
Yeah.
In economics?
Yeah, with a minor in rugby.
That's so funny. But you're mainly focused on the rugby?
Pretty much.
Yeah. The one place I didn't mention was the pub, and I think it was called Caps at the time. Caps knew me very well at Humber College. It was one of the courses I took. All right. Well, look, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to check out Etobicoke, lakeshorepress.com. The latest publication will be up there shortly, and many podcasts before and after this. So go ahead and subscribe wherever you are. And if you listen to podcasts, and you want to share this, by the way, we wouldn't say no to that. Go ahead and share it with a friend. Go ahead and just search Etobicoke Lakeshore Podcast, and there will be. And we'll catch you next time, Roger.
Good stuff. Thanks, Mike.